Okay, so I have about 4 or 5. It's starting to get in there. I think that you guys are starting to get in now. Please refresh, obviously. So let me just so I just posted refresh again and use Firefox, and it should work because I think that that should start it going. So while we get the rest of the ladies on the line, I know there were quite a few of you waiting here. I am going to give you just a few bits of instructions. So obviously this event, I put it together, and um, it was actually out of a couple of conversations that I had with some of you where the main focus of what you wanted to bring into your business was to actually get more people to speak to, because you know that once you actually get to speak to someone, when you actually get someone on the phone and you actually get to hear about what they have to say and their concerns and all that stuff, that you know that you'll be able to demonstrate your value and demonstrate the value of what you have to offer. So this is definitely about how to sell 17 or more discovery sessions in 16 minutes, even if you don't have a list. So this has nothing to do with having a list. This has nothing to do with you being known. So, you know, or if nobody has ever heard of you, this still works because it has nothing to do with that. It's a very, 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 very simple way of doing things that really gets it going ASAP. And for the most part, within 30 days, like you can really have amazing results way beyond whatever it has been that you have done, you know, in maybe even the last few years. I've had many, many clients that come to me, and within the first 30 days, we create a huge, massive shift compared to what they were doing before. So this is totally possible. Now, the main reason why I'm doing this now, and this is actually a combination of many, many months that I have been working and talking about similar topics and all this stuff, but I feel particularly that this is talking about topics that are a lot stronger and a lot deeper, and it actually digs more into the root of the problem that most of us tend to have with you know, getting more discovery sessions, having more sales, and being able to really showcase what you have, and being able to of course help more people. So let me just give you a couple of instructions. I want you to consider exactly how you learn before we start, you know, going into all the content and all that stuff. Really consider that and sit with it for a moment. We are going to have a few more moments before I get into all the goody stuff. So how is it that you learn best? Okay, if you learn best by just sitting back and focusing on what I'm saying, do that. Okay, if you have to take notes in order for it to cement in your mind, then do that. Whatever it takes, okay? The only thing that you have to do is focus on what I'm saying. Okay, focus on what I'm actually delivering to you. Okay, you've chosen to come here. And you really, really, you know, dedicated this time, and thank you so much for sticking around so that you can actually get this in its full capacity. I know that it, you know, I was trying really hard to make sure that we could come online, but you've chosen to come here. You've chosen to stay, right? To learn something, because you're not getting the results that you want in your business. Okay, and if you listen and hear, not just listen, but hear what I'm saying, okay, you will get answers to what is actually going on. Okay, but you won't get the answers if you're on Facebook at the same time, and if you're checking your email and you're running around buying groceries or whatever it is that you're doing right now. Okay, just focus, dedicate this time to you. Okay, and if that is what you're doing, if you're doing one of those things, you know, ask yourself, why am I doing that right now? Okay, why exactly am I choosing to be here and choosing to, try to learn something to get a different result, and then at the same time I'm just so distracted, right? Is this indicative to the results that you're getting? Okay, because it could be. So just choose this time. Choose yourself, okay? Choose yourself in this moment. Choose yourself to learn this for you, for your growth, for your business growth, and let's get this started, okay? Okay, so one thing that I do want to announce is that I'll be sharing towards the end a couple of two super juicy bonuses that you will be able to get your hands on. So definitely stick around for that. We're also going to be taking questions. I love the questions part. So if you come across anything that I'm saying or anything that is, kind of like a butting heads of energy. So anything that I'm saying that you're just reacting to it in some way, or you're just not understanding it all the way, or it's really like, how do I really do that? How exactly is it that, that actually happens? So what is the energy of this? Whatever the question is, I'm really not going to hold back. Obviously there's, a limitation within this capacity because, I will need a lot of information for some questions to be able to give you some answers, but I always give you some idea as to what direction you need to go into, okay? So the just to give you a tiny sneak peek, the first bonus is going to be covering how you can go from 0, if that's the case, to as many discovery sessions as you want. So there's a actual bonus that I'm going to be giving you that is 30 days to a wait list. So you can have as many discovery sessions and fill out your practice as quickly as possible. And I've actually had clients that do it within 2 months and all of that stuff. So it's really juicy, okay, using this particular bonus. Okay, and the second one is that I'm going to help you map out your entire 100K and beyond plan. So it's a 100K roadmap that will take all the guessing out of, what you should be doing next. Because when I'm working with some of my clients, or I'm working, I'm doing discovery sessions and I'm doing breakthrough sessions and all that stuff, there's always a question of like, what next? Or the question and the reason why they're coming to me is because they really don't have an idea of what actually needs to happen first, second, or third in order to get to that 100K and beyond. So definitely you want to stick around to find out how we're going to do that, because that is juicy. Okay, so let me just check in. I have about quite a few viewers on the line. So you guys, I really appreciate for you sticking around. I really, from the bottom of my heart, I just have to send you and I love you at this point, because I know I was just trying to work really quickly, and I was actually doing that within like 10 minutes before the 10 to 15 minutes before the event started. So I was actually trying to move quickly, and it's just not working. Sometimes that happens. So here's the thing. So I typically, when I decided to do this event, I went into a space of guidance. I always go in and I start asking like, what needs to happen? And it's typically coming from a place of, what exactly is needed at this point to be heard, okay? And I kept hearing, make it bigger, make it more, something like that. Like the energy was just expansive, right? The picture was clear, maybe not the words so much. I don't know if bigger or more are actually really giving a true indication of what the actual words would be, but it was more of that the energy or the picture of it was just very expansive. So I really decided to dig into the main problems that most spiritual entrepreneurs, mentors, marketers, mindset coaches, that kind of thing, you guys, what you're facing in order to to move forward in your business in some way. And that was discovery sessions. So right now at this particular point, you may be just very exhausted from trying to make your business work, understanding that the thing that is missing for you, like the thing that you can actually pinpoint is the fact that, maybe you do well when you have discovery sessions, but you don't have enough of them. Okay. So that if you got more, that you would be able to convert people. But you're seeing what you end up seeing all the time is that you're getting on the phone with some of these people, and some of them are just, they're either the window shopper, what I call the window shopper, right? They're going around, going on everybody's discovery session, but never buying, right? Or you have the free seekers, right? The ones that want their entire business's problems, or life problem, or whatever mindset problems resolved in an hour, right, in your discovery session. And you also have a lot, I tend to hear this a lot, a lot of my clients are saying, like, I can afford it, I can afford it, I can afford it. What do I really do with that, right? And it gets you really frustrated because from my perspective, when that was happening to me, and the entire amount of people that I was getting was just a handful, it just felt like, why am I attracting these people? What I'm doing is attracting these people. So I'm going to show you today exactly how that's happening, because that's something that we're not really always aware of. So I want to really put it in perspective so that you see how it's happening from that point of view, so that then the strategy, whatever strategy it is that you end up using, actually works, because it's not about the strategy. Okay, so and you're also probably ready to make your 10 plus K month, week, or sale. Okay, what would really excite you the most is probably going beyond like the 10K week, and you feel like you can conquer anything if you did. If that actually happened, you would be in a really good place. And for the most part, because it is December, I feel that you're getting ready, like I am, for January, right? You're getting ready for January because it's the best month for any self-improvement business. Okay, this is the best month for you to get started, the best month for you to actually up-level your business, the best month for you to get out there in a really big way, to know what you're doing, to know exactly what the steps are, so that you can actually have results quickly. Okay, so why am I doing this? I already gave you a little bit of it, but most of it is the fact that I actually have an allergy almost to wasting time, to be honest. I hate wasting time. I hate you wasting time. I hate the fact that it took me, hate is a really strong word, but I feel like it's accurate at this point. I hate the fact that it took me about 2 years to break through to my 10K. And I love the idea of being able to put women in that within the first 30 days in their business, within the first 30 days of working with me, whatever the deal is, right? Because there's really no reason why that should take years, okay? Or why you should be staying within like the $5,000 range for like, years and years, and you just like working your ass off all day, every day, 80-hour weeks and all that stuff, and just nothing really happening. And there's really nothing, like I feel like I went through this, there's really nothing more frustrating than being in the same place for a while, okay, for a long time, even if you feel like you're doing a lot, okay, because you could be working a lot, but then not really getting the results. And I always feel, okay, so the results are really what is going to tell me whether it's working or not. The results is really that's going to tell me what needs to change or not. Like I can't be emotionally attached to what's actually happening, because the moment that I do that, I lose my power and I lose my ability to really see what is going on, okay? So really ask yourself, like, what are my results? And look at the results, and then the results are the only indicator as to whether you're moving forward or not, okay? Working hard never helped anyone. In fact, it's actually the easiest way for you to have an empty schedule or to be attracting the wrong people. If your energy is not in it, you're going to always be attracting the wrong people. Okay, why? Why is that the case? Why would working hard be the way to an empty schedule? Because it always depends on what you're doing, okay? How diligent you're being and how focused, okay? If you're focused, if you're super focused, you don't need more than just 3 to 4 hours a day to have a business that leads to 10K months, weeks, and sales, okay? But if you're not, right? If you're not, and this is the position that you find yourself in at this particular point, you end up doing a lot of things that are distractions, okay? Which is why when I work with my clients, I eliminated, like, for the actual strategy or structure, I should say, because I don't think the strategy is all of it. For the actual structure that I use for my clients, I eliminated everything that doesn't need to be there. And I practically give my clients 4 things, like 4 things to do. And they're challenging, so I'm not going to lie to you and tell you, oh, they're easy breezy. No, they can be challenging. You know, growth will always be challenging. Growth will always make you feel uncomfortable. It's an illusion to really think that you'll be able to go to the next level and still feel comfortable and still feel like this is easy breezy. No, it's not. It's challenging, but it can also be very elegant, and it can also be very fast, okay? So this is, I feel, is the reason why so many people don't have the real need for the money, that don't have that need, that urgency, so to speak, or that they're not connected to their life's work, have such a hard time breaking through. And yes, I was one of those people. I was really one of those people. So let me give you a little bit of a background on where I started, because not all of you know me, and not all of you know what I was doing, or, you know, where I was in the spectrum. And, you know, if you came here, there's some part of my story that perhaps resonated with you. And, you know, perhaps you've been following me for years. I know one of my oldest clients was typing away in the comment section. So I realized that not all of you may know me, or maybe some of you that have known me for a long time, you haven't really heard all of it. One of the reasons why I stayed stuck for such a long time was the fact that I was just too damn comfortable. So when I quit my corporate job about 3 years ago, I had been making over 70,000 or something. And, you know, I was working in New York City, New York City, all that good stuff. You know, I was, you know, doing my yoga and like walking around the city like I owned it and all that stuff. And I was just saving money and living in a really, really tiny closet apartment in Jersey City, in New Jersey, in the States, because some of you are probably not familiar with the area. So it was really in a great neighborhood. And honestly, like, if I put myself back in that place where I was emotionally, my biggest worry in life was, I need to get healthy food, right? Because I was, you know, big time raw foodist, and I was very, very healthy, making juices all the time. And that's all I was actually worried about. And then shit got real. So I was actually let go from my job that I was going to quit anyway. So, and I went from 5,000 plus, for the most part net, like probably about like 4,500 net a month, to zero. Okay, so then I had to quickly hustle. So I had to put everything that I had into actually going into, you know, and making my business work. But actually the things that I ended up doing were things that were holding me back. So I actually went, and this is because it's one of those things that, you know, until you do it, you kind of don't learn. So I'm not really, you know, necessarily ashamed or, you know, anything about those things. I don't care. Like, at this point, you know, it happened, and it needed to happen that way for me. But I went the first year. One of the first things that I did was get a part-time job, and the part-time job helped me and supported me financially, and it helped me to pursue one of my other passions in health. But it became a huge obstacle for me in making any money. And that was one of the reasons why it was like I was just too damn comfortable, because I knew that I had enough money. I could survive on very little. I could survive probably on like $2,000 a month. And for me, that was like, it's fine. I still have plenty of money to do the things that I want to do, even travel, because I could be in that particular time a very, very frugal spender. And because I had such low, expenses in the years prior to that, and I worked in corporate for a while, I was able to actually save up a lot of money, and I had a lot of money in my 401k and all that stuff. So in the first 2 years, I ended up, spending about $60,000 in support. So I ended up working with a few mentors within the first few years. I ended up, getting a bunch of courses and trying to get a website and like all the typical things, right, that I felt that I needed, but I obviously didn't need, because there were really distractions. And I didn't realize this until like 2 years into it. The biggest thing that I want you to take out of this is the fact that it really took me 2 years for me to break through and start making at least, over $5,000 to replace my income, from 0 to 5,000 in my business, 2.5 years. So like 2 years and a half to make $10,000 consistently. So no, I really wasn't one of those that went straight to 10K and beyond in 3 months. I hear those stories all the time. I really know and understand the exact frustrations, okay, of what it's like to want to do something and to, in many ways, be half-assing it. And it was really hard for me to actually accept that and admit that to myself. I know what it's like to not be putting the best of you out there, or to be just so tired from overworking, 80 hours a week in your business and getting zero in return. I know what it's like to burn yourself out every single time that you do a launch. None of it is fun, okay? Especially when you don't know what you're doing. And I didn't know what I was doing, okay? So today my goal is to make it easier for you. To make all of that easier for you, because like I said, I really, really do hate wasting time. And for me, the goal is to give you the essential pieces that you need, so that you can understand what is going on in your business, in your mindset, in your life, so that you can then start taking action. Okay, because if you don't know what to do, you won't take the right actions. And the main point of today is to change your perspective, okay, and the major pieces that are holding you back. So I will be covering in this little bit, I'll be covering about 4 things in this call, and 4 things that will get you the results in 60 minutes. So that means like 60 minutes, you can book yourself as many as 17 or beyond discovery sessions, and you can make as much as you want. It really, like, there's really no numbers that are indicative to what you can do with this. These are the same things that I use and the same things that I use with my clients, and it makes a really, really huge difference on this level. So at this point, I'm going to check real quick and make sure that everybody's still here, because I haven't checked in with you guys since we started. So let me just go into the Hangout page and just see what everybody's doing. So let's see. Hi, Allison. Well, I hope that Elaine, you didn't lose me because I saw so many people are on the line now. So hopefully you are seeing me. And as I said before, if you do have questions while we're going through this, please write them in the question box so that I can get to them as soon as we're done. And if you want to sort by, there's a portion on the top right of the comment section that says you sort by newest, and I think that is the best way for you to see what's going on with the comments, okay? That's how I'm sorting to make sure that I keep track of you guys. Okay, so let me go into the first piece here that's important in getting discovery sessions. So the first piece is discover why, the how, right? How do you do this? How do you do this? Behind getting 17 discovery sessions in 60 minutes is never just about the strategy, okay? And how understanding this will permanently remove you from the mentor with lousy success rate box, and this will help you learn how to fill out your schedule in an hour, and then how to do the same for your clients. So what is this talking about? This is talking about the fact that it's not about the strategy, okay? And this is something that, coming from a strategist, should give you a real indication of why I'm actually saying this. I'm saying this because I honestly feel that you can have the best strategy and it not work for you, okay? And I really do honestly believe that there's some strategies that are really good for some people because it works better with their personality and all that stuff. But for the most part, if there's something that is pretty across the board, right, and you've tried it. So for example, at the beginning, I would be doing a bunch of courses, and some people were getting really amazing results from it, and I would be getting zero, right? So I signed up for, like, I don't know how many courses during the first year that I was in business, and nothing happened. I mean, that first year I made $5,500 the entire year. So everyone wants a strategy and how to do it. But I honestly do feel that, getting as many discovery sessions, 17, 13, 24, whatever you want, it comes from the mindset. Okay, and here's what I mean by that. I mean that the discovery sessions is something that you have to sell. Okay, what do I mean by that? Okay, follow along with me. Okay, you don't charge for the discovery sessions, obviously. So that means that you're not getting money for it. But that doesn't mean that you don't sell them, okay? You have to sell the discovery sessions because they're just like any other product, okay, that you have out there. If you have a free gift, if you have a post on Facebook, all those things you're selling, okay? And the thing is that the main problem here is the fact that typically, if you're not getting the discovery sessions that you want, is the fact that you're not selling them to the right people. So what you're doing to sell the discovery sessions is not attracting your ideal clients, okay? And it's not attracting the ideal clients that are dying to work with you, the ones that will cheer you on and do the work and get really awesome results and give you awesome testimonials and stay with you for like ever and ever, right? What does that mean? So follow along with me, okay? That means that I don't know if you've, by this point in your business, you probably have experienced that there's a mindset to selling, right? That mindset to sell, to be able to sell, to not be from a space of being needy and all that stuff, really does trickle down all across the business, right? And it really does start with the discovery sessions. It starts with, the discovery sessions to the clients, to the awesome results, the testimonials, and all of those things, right? Because you really do need that mindset in order to be able to take them through the entire process and then come out at the end, more expansive, both of you, not just one or the other, but both of you. If you don't understand the energetic perspective or, mindset, I honestly use mindset and energy interchangeably because I do feel that they're the same. if you don't know the energetics of, how to sell, okay, a discovery session, then it really does trickle down around the entire business, because that means that you're getting the wrong clients, you're not getting people that do the work, you're not getting people that are leaving you really good testimonials. All of those things really do, flow through the entire business. Okay, so it really does trickle down. Okay, and why is it not just the strategy? Because everybody just wants to always just get, okay, what do I do? What do I do? But if you're always in the wrong mindset, it will always trickle down to all of those pieces. So not only whatever it is that you're doing in order to invite them to a discovery session, but also the people that you're attracting. And a lot of the times, I've done it too, where I've signed up people that weren't necessarily 100% the best fit, a while ago. And then that trickles down to, them not getting the best results. And obviously we don't want that. None of us wants that. What we want is, to be able to have, a full practice of really awesome, consistent income and, amazing people and all of that stuff, and more time to be able to actually grow the business the way that it deserves to be grown. So not having the right mindset for the sale, to be able to sell discovery sessions, really does affect everything. So that's why I always say it's not about the strategy. It's not just about the strategy. Of course, knowing what to do means everything, right? But if you're not doing it the right way, with the right mindset and energy, it's always going to end up giving you the result that you don't want. That's why I focus so much on this in my work, because I feel that, and actually, let me give you an example of this. So I was talking to one of my clients a little while ago, and she was having a hard time with one piece, one of the pieces in her business, and we addressed it, but we addressed it from the mindset perspective. Okay, so there was something going on, like with, how she was putting herself out there, the energy that she was, putting out, and all of that stuff. And then we talked about the strategy real quick. Okay, so hey, do this, and then within, I would say, like a couple of days, she was actually able to book about 7 discovery sessions and sold, I don't know how many, but I know that it was at least 3, because that was the count that she gave me right away, like within a few days. So this is what I'm talking about. It's about the pieces of the mindset that you need to incorporate in order to actually have those results, and for it to be that quick, because it can't be that fast. Okay, so I hope you guys are following along, because I know that this is really good advanced content. So please be posting any comments or questions that you have about this. Let's move on to the next one. I was just checking real quick the event page again to make sure that you guys are still here. Okay, so the second piece that I feel is absolutely essential in order to get discovery sessions. So the why behind why you are a walking magnet for I can't afford it people, it's too expensive, or worse, the disappearing act folks, right? And I want to help you steal my secret for on the spot yes people. So what does this mean? Okay, so the fact that you're attracting people with these issues is that they're not your ideal clients, right? So your ideal clients are also coming, but like I mentioned in some of the content leading up to this event, they're like a needle in a haystack. They're very few and far between, and you can't ever find and you feel like you can't ever just have consistency with that piece. There's something that's missing, that's just not allowing you to actually be able to schedule a lot of people in a row, and then be able to make that. Maybe you have one at the beginning of the month, and then one at the end of the month, right? But nothing like 3 in a row or 5 in a row, right, that sign up with you. And it feels very frustrating because you're like, okay, why do I have to do all this hard work? Why does it have to be so difficult? And why do I have to go through all of these people, right, that are giving me all of these excuses, or that are just not obviously ideal clients for me? Okay, what exactly is happening here? So this is what's happening. We master the levels that came before, but not the ones that are ahead. What does that mean? Okay, because this is a really, really rude awakening for me, because I had a little bit of the successaholic gene, right? Where everything in my life I'd always been successful in, and I always felt like, I could figure things out, and why is this taking, and everything came with relative ease before I started my business. And then when I started my business, everything was just really damn hard, right? And I really didn't realize like why, because a lot of the things that I had, succeeded in before were things that I already had mastered. I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but from if you've been in corporate, you worked for someone else before, you do a lot of education, you kind of know how to interact with people and that kind of environment, and you you were taught, what to do, and, they give you like 3 months and you're able to, figure it out really quickly. And then you kind of move and you do the same task over and over and over. So there's really not that much of a, I feel, of mystery around the mastery in that kind of job, right? Maybe not all of you did the same things, and that's okay. But for me, it just felt like whatever. I mean, some parts of it were exciting, but most of it was just repetitive BS, right? That just didn't, make that much of a change, whether I was doing it or machine a lot of the time. So it was very easy to master those things. But in our own business, the things that we we have mastered up to a certain level. So say that you're making $5,000 a month, you're proficient, you're very proficient and even masterful at making $5,000 a month. So you're up to that level that feels like, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do this. I trust myself. I have had this experience, right? But when it comes to thinking, oh, I want to move to 10,000, you don't know what to do because you haven't been there. Okay, so we always master the levels before, but not the levels ahead. And what does that mean? It means that you're attracting all of these people because you don't know who they are, like the ideal clients that are coming for the next level, right? The ideal clients are actually your soul ideal clients, right? You can't find them because they're the level ahead. They're the next level people for you, right? And I personally feel that we can never, ever find our own ideal clients because it's too close to our hearts. So it's very difficult. And that's why when we're actually creating content or creating marketing or, shooting a video or putting together an event, it's really, really essential that you're always speaking to one person. And the result, always looking at the result. If you're looking at the fact that you're attracting all of these people to your session, then there's a reason why that's happening. Your ideal client is not very clearly defined, right? Because you have mastered the level before, you know how to attract those, single sessions or, all that stuff, but you're not able to attract the people that are actually ready for that next level of investment that you want to charge, or they're just not ready to, or it's just really difficult to find one in 20,000, right? And some of them come to you and once every 5 or 10 or whatever, and it's just it takes a lot of time to find those people. So the answer, like when it comes to mastery, I always feel that the answer precedes the problem. okay? And that means that we can't, like, we have to get help for the answer if we're not there yet. And you can try to do it by yourself, but I want to ask you something. And this is something that, you know, I invested so much in my business, and I still continue to invest. This year, I think I've probably invested like 50,000 already. And probably for the end of the year, there will be like another 10,000 added to that. Because I'm doing a few other things now. And all of those things, like, I wasn't ever able to do it by myself. And consider this, like, I stood stuck for a very long time. I stood stuck for about 2 years, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what was happening. I personally feel that if you're stuck and there's no movement forward, results, right? I'm not talking about, you know, you doing more work or you getting more comments. I know that stuff is awesome, you know, when someone actually sees you and acknowledges you and all that stuff, right? I'm not even talking about more people on your list, right? I'm talking about actual clients. If you're not seeing that what you're doing is getting you in front of your ideal clients for more than 30 days, there's something going on. There's really something going on. If the answer precedes the problem, which is what my mentor always says, then that means that a lot of the time, in order to get the answer, we need support, because there's really nothing, our who we're being is actually stuck at this one level, and we have mastered the levels before, but to master the levels ahead without being able to be there has to be some sort of awareness that we step into that allows us to actually move in that direction. Okay, just sit with that, and let me give you an example of what that looks like in real life. Okay, so when you change this, you can fill up your practice very easily. So the ideal client, like when you're actually clear on who that person is, okay, and you get, you know, if you're able to get support and get someone that actually knows how to connect you with your soul clients, not just any clients, but the ones that really are meant to work with you, right? You can fill your practice. I have a client, and I don't mean just fill your practice, but, you know, filling your practice also means consistent income. It also means repeat clients, especially if they're satisfied and they're ideal clients, and they will want to continue working with you until they feel that they're done working with you, right? And it also means a wait list. Like, you can really literally have a wait list of people waiting to work with you. And it means that there's never ever a gap in your income, and you can be making however much you want per month based on that consistently, and knowing when you can actually add more to the list. Plus, having more repeat clients, that means that it becomes easier because once you are used to working with someone, it's very easy for you to actually be able to address their problems and all that stuff. I'm sure a lot of you understand this because you've had that experience. Okay, so I've been able to do this myself. In fact, I only have like about 2 to 3 spots right now to be able to work with me privately. So I've really been able to put this into play. One of my clients, though, like, this is really cool. Before working with me, she had one client, and she had made about $1,200 the entire year. And this was like about 2 months ago. And she was able to practically fill up her practice to almost full capacity. I think she has only a few spots available in like 2 months. 2 months, okay, and hitting her income goals and everything in the way. So it is possible, okay, for her, this piece of the ideal client and actually understanding how she was connected with them, and what the message was that she needed to be conveying to them, so that they could actually really feel that connection and be able to actually, come to her discovery sessions. and feel the resonance and wanting to work with her, the right people. You know, this piece is like the most essential of all of them, I feel. Okay, so I hope you guys are following, because this is really cool stuff. I'm telling you, it took me a while to actually come up with the ideas behind this, and I actually let it marinate for about a month, I would say, because I was like, I really want to do something special in December. So this is it. Anyways, I find that it's really special to me because it's really the core of my work. The real belief behind everything that actually works in my business and in my clients' businesses. Okay, so let's move on to number 3, because I know that you guys are way over time since, you know, we started so late, but there's 2 more points, and then we're gonna take Q&A after. Okay, so you have to learn how to translate what you do into the language of your premium ideal clients are waiting to hear, so that you can actually start pre-selling, working with you before they even meet you. Okay, it doesn't even matter. Like a lot of my clients, like they were already sold before working with me. Okay, before even getting on the discovery session. The discovery session was more just, you know, okay, let's do this. Like, how do we come up with this? Like, you know, how do we work through this? It was very, very easy, and it becomes that easy. Okay. So here's how this works, and here what this means, the whole translate into a language that they understand. Okay. It's a language of urgency, and urgency really equals desire. Okay. If you don't have the result, you don't have the urgency. Okay, so we, you know, if we're not seeing what you do, what you're offering as the most valuable and desirable, if they're not seeing it, if they're really not seeing it as the most desirable, important thing for them, there's absolutely something missing. There's something going on that is not going to resonate for them. Okay? We see what we believe, and this is something that is just so deep for me, and I really, really want you to hear. Okay, we see what we believe, and we learn from our own awareness. I talked about awareness a little while ago. We learn from our own awareness. The only things that we are actually aware of, those are the only things that we can actually identify. When I'm looking this way, the things that I'm aware of are the things that I'm actually able to see. There are things in this space right now in my sister's home in Florida, right, that I don't like, that are just not even in my resonance, and my eyes are not able to see them because I just can't see them. And this happens a lot more when it comes to understanding, and when it comes to like hearing, right? Like when someone hears you talk about what you do and all of that stuff, is that the language that you need to communicate to them, to your ideal clients, in order for them to be able to actually hear it? Okay. This is all based on what you do, and it's all based on the energy of what you do. This is a lot deeper teaching, so really, really understand what I am trying to say here, okay? If they are not seeing or hearing what you're offering, because that's how you communicate what they want, right? If they're not on the same level of awareness, they're not going to be able to hear it. So it's not even that they're not hearing it. It's like you're not speaking it. There's something in the way that you're communicating that you're not speaking the same language as them. And it's really causing, you know, a huge issue with the communication between the two of you. Like, you're just not able to understand. So like, they are not, they're not able to see it because what you're actually saying are not things that they are, you know, aware of already. Something like what you offer has an amazing potential, and it can have such an amazing potential, I'm sure of it, okay? But it doesn't work because it's not able to actually create this translation. So the growth in the perspective of how you're teaching what you're teaching, and how you're communicating what you're teaching, is not there, okay? You haven't grown into saying things the way that they need for them to be able to hear it, okay? And like I said, urgency equals desire. Okay, if you're not communicating in the language of urgency, in the language of their desire, then it's not going to actually work. They're going to just be like whatever, or you're going to get those, you know, free loaders, people that come into your discovery sessions for whatever reason, and they're just trying to get free information, or they're just window shopping but never buying, or they're coming in with no intention to buy, just to go into, you know, I really can't afford it, because they already have that block in front of them. And let me tell you something, this is actually not something that I necessarily wanted to address, but I have never, up until the very last investment that I made, I never had the money for what I was investing in over the last 3 years. Never had the cash. Never ever, and I'm gonna say this like another, like, you know, 5 times, never ever did I have the money for it. And that didn't stop me. That did not stop me. But I heard, I was on Facebook the other day, and I was talking to someone, and they were saying, you know, and I've heard this story probably like 20 times. You know, I've had a lot of bad experiences, right? I've had a lot of you know, investments that went to shit, right? That I didn't get anything out of it. So a lot of mentors and things that I did, that I paid a lot of money, and I had a coach, and it was, you know, it just didn't work. And I hear you, because I did it, right? I hear you because I did it. I did the exact same thing for 2 years without it working at all. I mean, I think by the end of the second year, I had, I don't know, I think I had about 12,000 total. I don't know if the numbers are correct, but I remember having to think, oh, did I make enough money to sign up for this program, where there was a requirement of how much money you've made in your business before you could actually sign up for the program. Even if you had the money, or even if you could find the money, they wouldn't allow you in if you hadn't made that much money. And I was like, oh, I just got it, right? I just made it, right? So nobody can come to me and tell me, hey, I don't have the money, and, you know, I've invested in all of that stuff. Yes, I know, I did too. I get it, I really do. Like, you may think that I don't, but I do. I really do. And it still doesn't mean anything. Because if you're allowing your past experience to dictate the kind of life that you want to have, then you're going to always be ruled by something outside of yourself. You're not going to believe in your own power. So for me, I get it. And I think that it's, you know, it's it's something to recognize and understand and learn from. So it's not something to just be dismissed. I never in a million years would say that to someone, but it's not something to allow you to always, cloud the judgment, of how you're actually living your life, like of the kind of life that you can have or that you want to have. If you do that, then you're always going to be someone's puppet, like something's puppet, right? And definitely that's not a life worth having, in my opinion. But you can think what you want about that. Okay. So here's to share with you about what the idea of how you communicate and how you actually translating what you do, which is always coming from what you're, it's pretty much translating your gifts, right, into something that they can actually feel is absolutely made for them. And this is something that I did with one of my clients recently, and it allowed me to translate the gifts into a package, right? It helped me help her translate to wait, let me see what are the right words. It helped me to help her create a package that could really translate her gifts in an accurate way, in the way that they needed to be, in order for them to have the real value of what they were really worth, right, to someone, and allow her to go from making 150 to making 5,000, which I've done before. There's been different people. There was someone else that was charging 500 and went to charging 5,000, and then there's other people that were charging like 120 and started charging like 1,500. The jump really depends on the person, and the idea is that you really do translate it in a way that then allows the person to really value it to the extent that it is, and then to be able to say, yes, of course this is worth it, right? And that client, she got that sale like within like a couple of weeks of us creating that, right? Because the value was there and was able to be received in the same language as what she had, as what the ideal client was actually desiring, right? So here's the last point: cross the 6 figures. The 6 figures thing of your 2016 to-do list by starting your January with a full schedule filled with ideal clients that you will love working with. And never, ever, ever be embarrassed about your results again. Oh goodness, was I embarrassed the first 2 years of my business, because I knew the value and all of that stuff, but I really, really didn't have the income, right? And that really put a chink in what I felt I was worth at the time, and it really clouded my judgment, right? So what is the key point in this, right? Because we all, I feel that the first goal for an entrepreneur is getting to 10K, I feel, or at least in my circles, it's typically getting to 10K. And then the second goal is like, let's hit 6 figures, right? And being a spiritual entrepreneur, you ask for help and all of that stuff from the universe, and you ask for help, and perhaps you tried some mentors and all this stuff. So here's one thing that I want you to consider. The universe communicates in opportunities. Okay, so you ask for help and you get an opportunity, but you don't like the opportunity that you're getting, right? Because it's giving you a picture, an idea, or something that needs to change, makes you uncomfortable, or is it's just not it's requiring some sort of, you know, stepping out of the box type of thing. So for example, I had an opportunity a little while ago to come to Florida to see my mentor. I'm actually here at the very beginning of, well, middle of December. I was going to come a little bit later to be with my family, probably next week, but I decided to come a week earlier to be able to see my mentor this weekend. And it was something that required extra money. It required, because I had to pay for the event. I had to pay for, you know, a car. I had to pay for, you know, food and extra days of being outside of my home and uncomfortable and leaving my boyfriend and the kids behind and all of that stuff, right? All uncomfortable things. But it was an opportunity. And it came at the time where I was actually asking for a particular answer. Like I was asking the universe, like, hey, can I get support with this? And this came up, right? So when you receive the answer and then you're like, oh no, I don't like that answer because it's uncomfortable, because I don't want to do this, because I don't want to spend the money, and I don't want to do that, and I don't want to do that. Like, you're blocking yourself from actually being able to see the next opportunity that comes along. And that is really real. For me, it's much more important. Like I personally feel that, and this is something, because this was a discussion that I had at one point with one of my coaches, where I was asking her, so, you know, what if I don't follow, you know, desire? And she's like, well, desires are always coming from the universe. And if, you know, there's always something else behind that desire that may be leading you to something really bigger. So if there's an opportunity that you don't follow, that's something that you really, really desire. And, you know, there's a growth or something that you really, really need in that particular step, and then you're not following it because it's uncomfortable, because it costs money, because of this, because of that. It really, really puts a chink, because I'm more interested in the thing that comes after, right? Because the thing here I can kind of see, but I don't even know what's coming next. I don't know what's on the other side of that. And if I don't follow this desire, this opportunity that the universe presented me with, then that means that I have no freaking idea what's coming after. And for me, not to actually put myself in the position where I can receive that because I am in the space to be able to receive it, it's a really huge loss that I'm just not willing to take, because I understand how this works. I understand how this works, and that's the only reason why, even after spending so much money, I was still able to hit my numbers for the, you know, the first 2 years and all that stuff, right? And here's one other thing that I want you to consider, because this whole thing with you know, crossing the 6 figures and all this stuff has everything to do with your desires, and it also has everything to do with your intuition, and really being able to take advantage of the right opportunities. There's a lot of people out there that, like I said, you know, that, you know, are afraid because they've made investments and all this other stuff. And a lot of the times, like, they're really following what they call their intuition, right? And it's not actually speaking in the voice of the universe. It's not really speaking in the voice of spirit. Okay, if intuitions are based on feelings and you're scared shitless, right? If you're scared out of your mind, then how can you trust your feelings? Okay, you cannot trust your emotions until you're able to control them. Okay, the only thing that I feel takes me out of that I just, the most powerful thing ever is action. because we all know about manifesting and all this stuff, right? Like we've all experienced and we all have a lot of awareness around what, what are the actions. Like don't focus on the how, which is the reason why I started with, it's not about the strategy, right? It's not about the how, right? It's actually about the being. But action, who you're being in taking an action when the universe is actually coming to you and giving you an answer to what your perceived problem is, even if you don't have the resources at that particular moment, right? You can create miracles. I've created all of my miracles that exact way. That exact way. Okay, let me give you an idea of what this looks like. So I had a client, I'm not gonna give you one of mine because I've already talked about some of mine, but one of my clients recently, right, she just signed up a little bit over a month ago. And she's like, I have no idea, I just know that this is the right thing. I asked for help. I know that I need this kind of help, and she just went with it. And I was very excited because I really felt that she had an amazing potential and she did not disappoint. The first month that, the first 30 days, she went over 7,500. Prior to that, she had made zero online. Zero. She had been online for months. I would say, like, I don't really, please don't quote me on this. And, you probably don't know who she is anyways, but, and I'm not, obviously I'm not giving you her name. So she had been online for months. I have no idea how many months, but many, many months before, and nothing, right? The opportunity came. She had invested in a lot of help before. So one of her things that she had an issue with is the fact, I know, I have invested a lot and nothing has really worked. And she knew that she needed to try it. She needs to give it her all, right? So here's where I start hearing the typical excuses from people. And listen, if you want a successful business, the excuses just can't be there. Whatever the excuse, even if the excuse is something that is considered okay, like your kids or, family or whatever the deal is, okay? If you want a successful business, the excuses cannot be there. And the reason why those things are excuses is because you allow them to be. There's a way, there's an elegant solution to them not being excuses, okay? The only way to overcome those excuses is to actually believe in the truth, okay? If there's a problem, there has to be a solution, and a solution that actually gives you everything that you want, not just one thing. Because one of the things that I see all the time is like, well, I either, work on my business or, tuck in the kids, right? No, there's a way that you can find both, but are you open to it? And I feel like this is where we make it really hard because we're just so used to working so damn hard, right? I cut my time in more than half when I started actually using the strategy that I use now. And it's actually a much more simplified version. But before, the strategy that I was using, the first 2 years obviously didn't work. You heard my numbers, right? And then I went to a completely different strategy, and it cut my hours to like 30 to 35 hours a week immediately. If you're working that much, why? What exactly are you doing? Like, it doesn't take that much time. Okay? So here's what I want to tell you. Okay? You can't allow anything to stop you. Okay? I want to give you a possibility. I want to give you an opportunity, okay, to be able for you to solve your own problem. Because I can't solve it for you. I wish that I could, but I can't, because when I tell people that, like, you know, hey, I can't solve your problem, right? They almost like get scared, especially my clients, right? When I start working with them and I tell them, you know, hey, I can't solve this for you. And they're like, wait, what? You know, it's not that I'm not going to be there to support you, but I can solve it for you. A little while ago, I got an email from someone asking me, like, what would be different about my program? You know, how would they know that working with me will solve their problem? Okay. And let's really think about this for a moment, because this is where most people just really don't get it. Like, they just don't get it. And I know that you can get it. Okay, it has to come from you. Okay, if it doesn't, then you don't grow. And you need to grow in order to receive the income at that next level. You grow into the next level, you become that person, and then you make that income. The answer, like I said before, I don't know if you know, caught this, the answer precedes the problem. You have to be that person first and then make the income. Always, okay? If it doesn't, then it's not your success. If I solve it for you, then it's not your success. And a lot of you may be scared, oh, it's gonna be really hard and all this stuff. No, hard is now. What you're doing now is what's hard. That's what's hard. Working so hard, getting in front of all of the discovery sessions that are just not working, not worth it. They're just a handful. You're doing all of this work to just get a handful and maybe one client a month or maybe 2 clients a month. You know, you've been wanting to increase your prices for a long time, but it's just not working because you're not working with that many people and you don't feel confident that, you know, if you raise the prices, you're going to get more people actually signing up. It's not true. Did I not tell you the jump that my clients make in income from charging 150, 250, 500, I don't know, there's been quite a few of those, to charging like, you know, 2,500, 5,000, whatever they want, okay? If you're scared that it's going to be hard, erase it from your mind, okay? That's the main reason why I did not make it non-negotiable for 2 years, because I was scared out of my mind. I was really scared. I was scared that when I actually put in that much time, like that much effort, not time, because the time was, you know, like I said, I reduced it, right? But I thought that it was going to take longer, right? It didn't. When I put that much effort, that much of myself, what if I fail? What if I give it everything and then I fail? That was one of the biggest reasons why I didn't do anything for 2 damn years. And I feel that that may be one of your reasons too. So here's what I got for you, okay? I have a amazing, awesome, unbelievable opportunity for you that is going to allow you to step into creating the change that you really want quickly. Okay, and that is a 100K soul print planning and mapping session. Okay, so I want to help you discover your first 100K. So your first 6 figures and where they are already, why and where they are already in your business and in you, waiting for you to finally see them. Okay. And really to eliminate income shame, because it's not necessary. Now when you're doing things this way, okay, using the things that I share with you today. And I want to share with you how exactly, who exactly, not how, who exactly is the voice behind your empty schedule, okay? Why do you keep consistently tripping over, you know, every time that you actually try to get on track for your 6 figures? And I want to actually help you to make your January your best month ever. And this is the best time, okay, to be able to do this. So below, if you refresh the event page again, there's going to be a box for you to schedule a discovery session. And I'm also going to send an email quite shortly about this as well. Okay, I only have about 10 spaces right now for breakthrough sessions because my schedule is very limited. Okay, so if you apply for the 10K breakthrough session and we have it and you sign up with me, okay, you will be eligible for the bonuses that I wanted to share with you since the beginning. So let me just back up for a second. This soul print planning session for your 6 figures is really the first step towards making 6 figures. I'm very laser focused when it comes to actually doing these sessions, and I help you actually see exactly what needs to happen. In fact, the client that we work together with, the one that actually went from 150 to 5,000, she's one of those people that actually got a lot of the transformation from the discovery sessions. She actually went from 150 and 6,000 from the discovery session. And then the work that we did at the very beginning helped her to actually, you know, move into an even more abundant business. So consider how the opportunities come into your life, like I was just talking about, and which opportunities you're actually taking advantage of, okay? Because here's what I'm gonna give you if you actually end up working together and you feel that we're actually a match to work together. I'm going to give the first 3 people that sign up my 30 days to weightless strategy, which is the entire strategy that I use in recording, okay? So I did a really, really kick-ass, awesome like workshop couple, I would say like last month, yeah, the end of last month. And I recorded the whole thing, and I actually have all the templates and all of the entire strategy. So while you're waiting for your intensive, while you're waiting for whatever it is that we end up doing together, you will have access to all of this to get to hit the ground running. Okay, and that's typically you know, the workshop itself is around $3,000. So you're going to get that immediately. So there's really no wait. And like I told you, one of my clients used this and went, you know, 60, like it was around 60 days, and she was almost completely full to capacity. So, you know, it might take you a little bit longer, but you really do have this strategy to be able to fill out your practice as quickly as possible. Okay, and I'm also going to give the first 3 people, by the way, this is only limited to 3 people because they're just so juicy, and actually the value of them are just huge. So I don't want to really devalue them by giving them out to everyone. I really, really want to give this to the fast action takers. So sign up for the discovery session. If we end up working together, you're also going to get the first, the map, the 100K roadmap, which is where I actually take you step by step what you need to be doing when in your business in order to never feel like you're lost. It's always, always going to be, you know, let's hit this goal, let's hit this goal. And it also goes in a row. It goes also into when you should be doing things like hiring out certain services or all of that stuff for simplicity's sake, but it's creating a plan that never ever puts a huge gap between you and your highest results. So one of the main things and the main reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing is the fact that most people, you know, they feel like they need all of these things. So they need the website and all that stuff, the same stuff that I felt that I needed. And there's a lot of those things that you don't need. So I actually map out every single step, what you need when. And in fact, one of my clients that is doing the best, she doesn't even have a website yet, you know, and she's actually the one that almost filled out her whole practice, and she doesn't even have a website. So understanding when do you need to do all of those things, it's really, really essential so that you never put a huge gap between you and making the income that you want or hitting the goals that you have. And not only for you, but also for your family and whatever personal goals that you have for yourself. And typically that's a 90-minute session. So we're going to go really, really deep into every aspect of your business to make sure that it is your business and not, just using some cookie cutter thing. I don't really like that. I like making it yours so that it feels really, really, really juicy. Okay. And the third bonus, which I didn't even mention, but I wanted to give it to you because it's a surprise. So my team will actually be setting up your entire launch sequence. So once we actually put together the strategy based on all of these elements that we talked about today, you get my team to actually set it up for you within 1 week of the date of receipt. So you're not really waiting around, and you're not really learning how to do things and all of that stuff. Not really important. You don't want to use your time that way. You want to use your time effectively, and this will actually allow you to do that. Okay, and typically that's valued at like, $2,500, from $1,000 to $2,500, depending on what setup we use for you. Okay, because it's custom. Okay, so that is it in terms of the content. You definitely want to go under. So under this video, there's a box. If you refresh the screen again, and you'll see that there's a place there where you can go and sign up for a discovery session. That should be available right then. And then I will be taking your questions now. So tell me what juicy questions you have, because that is my favorite thing in the whole world. Oh, excuse me. I always do that. I flip the screen and then I forget. So okay, I don't see any questions so far. Let me see if there's anything under. Hi, Simona. Hi, Martina. I say hi to Elaine already. Hi, Rachel. Thank you for letting me know that it was working. Hi, Heidi. Love you, girl. Hi, Lucy. I already said hi to you guys, but I'm saying hi again. Okay. So what questions do you have? I'm going to refresh again. And again, if there's any question, like I really don't have any limitations on this that take anything from you, to make sure that you are actually understanding this. I feel like the biggest problem with some of these concepts is the fact that we're just obviously not grown. I have a thing with my clients, like we're not raised actually understanding how to do this stuff. We're not really raised understanding how to market or how to speak this way, or how to translate our language to our ideal clients and all this stuff. So if you have any questions about any of those concepts, I'd be happy to answer for you. Let me refresh again. Let's see. When clients say they can afford it, what do you say? That's a good question. So there's a couple of things. It really depends. It really depends on the conversation. There's probably a lot of other things that came before that that is giving you hints as to what the real thing is. My first thing that I go into is whether they're telling me the truth or not, whether they feel that it's the truth. I don't ever believe it to be the truth, regardless of what they say, because I don't believe that there's any lack in the universe. So there's only a perception based on what we see in our bank account or on our credit cards or whatever the deal is, but it doesn't mean that that's the truth. The reason why I've been able to cement that into my being is because I've been able to technically manifest so much money to do the courses and do the trainings and work with mentors that I wanted to work with to support and help my business thrive whenever I wanted to. And I really didn't have any of that money in my bank account sitting there, right? Maybe at the very beginning, but even then, like some of it was, like getting 401ks and all this other stuff. And a lot of it was just, maxing out my credit cards, like, which I did do, and no shame with it whatsoever, because it helped me to get to where I am right now. So the first thing to say is to really like understand whether they're actually believing you. Whether you know whether they're telling the truth or not, right? So what question can you ask to determine whether they're actually telling you the truth or not, and whether they're just trying to get off the phone, okay? Because a lot of the times that is something that will happen, especially with the freeloaders. If they're willing to find the money, typically it's a good indication, but you need to really, first of all, assess, whether they're actually telling you the truth or not. One of the questions that my mentor used to ask all the time is like, you don't have the money for this, or you don't have the money at all, right? Another question that I would ask sometimes during the conversation, not even in the discovery, like the financial conversation, but towards the beginning, I ask people, like, how do you support yourself, right? Because it's very clear understanding, where they're at with their urgency. It's never about the money, and that's the thing that you need to realize. It's never, ever about the money. It's about the urgency. Like, how much do they actually want it? If they want it that much, they will find the money for it. If they feel that they really need it, and if they really feel that you are the mentor for them, they will find the money for it. There's really no question in my mind. Because it always works. It's the law. Like everybody, I've seen it happen time and time again, and in my life especially. So that's really, really cemented in me. The second thing is that, depending on the level of the person, but like where they're at in their journey, I don't put everybody into my private coaching. So for example, right now I have the workshop, which is going to be happening in January again, and have private coaching. And I also have private coaching, and I also have a mindset course that's actually coming out in February. So I really, really assess, and based on the conversation, whether they would be a better fit for something else, without really feeling like I have to force them, because you never want to do that. You want to really, really be listening to them and where they're at. I feel that a lot of the people that are in the I Can't Afford It camp may be at a lower level of like an ideal client for you, perhaps, but maybe at a lower level investment. The only thing is that I typically don't recommend that you start with a lot of different programs. So that's something that you kind of step into. So at the very beginning, when you're just working from the I Can Afford It, and you just have that one program, then you want to speak to them at the level of, are they really telling me the truth? And what's the level of urgency? Did I actually reach the urgency within the conversation? Because most of the time, if they're telling you that they can afford it, you didn't. So that's what I would say to that. Okay. You have to get the urgency. You have to get the reason why they have to do this more than anything in the world, because that will surpass any belief that they have in whether they have the money or not, whether they can find the money or not. They will make the money. They will create it out of nowhere. I've done it time and time and time again. People will always have money for what they want. So it's really about you know, getting deep into the urgency to be able to do that. And there's a few more strategies that, you know, you can, and wording and things like that you can use to help them to actually understand the urgency. That's something that I go over into my programs. Okay, so definitely a good, awesome question. Thank you for that, Elaine. I really appreciate it. Any other questions? I don't see anything else. Come on, you guys. You have so many of you still on the line and no questions. So here's the deal with this. I really honestly feel that the biggest problem is really understanding where you are. For the most part, when you've been trying a lot of things and you've been trying really hard for a really long time, and you've been doing so many things, and a lot of them haven't been working, from the sense of results, meaning maybe you've grown more as a person, but from the sense of results that you get in your business itself, you haven't really seen that you've got more clients, or you haven't been able to increase your fees, you haven't been able to hit that 10K month or week or whatever, right? And it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And I feel that part of the reason is because you're probably putting your attention in the wrong things. Okay. So you don't really need to change your whole business. It's about finding, okay, where the 6 figures or the 10K week, month, you know, whatever, is hiding already in your business. It's already there. Okay, it's not somewhere else, it's already there. It's just about actually seeing where it's hiding, okay, and why there's so many things actually in the way of you getting to where you want to be. And I'm all about eliminating all of the clutter, so moving all of the things. And that's why I make my strategy so simple, because I want more than anything to be able to eliminate everything that doesn't need to be there and only do the things that need to be there for this particular stage in your business. And then for another stage, there might be other things that you need, but by then you will have time for it. So this is the elegant solution, right? Where a lot of the times, and this is what happened to me, I was working so much trying to do all of these things that weren't for that particular stage in my business, right? I was following strategies from some of my mentors that were for another stage. So, for example, one of my mentors told me to do a telesummit. And a telesummit, when you're trying to meet your monthly income and you're at 0, it's not the best thing to do. But that's a strategy that she was taught for her level, which she was like 10 steps ahead of me. And she thought that because it worked for her, it will work for me. You have to understand that not all strategies work for every step in your business, okay? What step are you in, and what strategy needs to work for you? How is the 6 figures already in there, and how do you need to tweak it in order to get to 10K? And that's what I'm going to be uncovering with you in the 100K Soul Print planning mapping session. Okay, so if you do that, if you schedule one of those, then I will be happy to uncover that for you, because I feel that's one of the biggest concerns that people have. They really don't know what to do. So Elaine is asking again, thanks. What do you say to get to the urgency part? What questions do you ask them, or to show your value? Sure. So the questions specifically really depends on the person, right? But you have to dig into whatever it is that you feel would be important to them. And a lot of the times what I do with that is based on the whole discovery session strategy, which is one of the reasons why it's so successful. Not only from the front end, meaning you know, having the webinar and asking people to sign up and all that stuff, but also from the back end, where I am having people you know, follow a particular structure to the discovery session that gives me some information even ahead of time before they get on the phone with me. So the urgency to get deep into that, that's really, there's like a million questions that you could ask. It really depends on them. So for example, I go really deeply into, for moms, like say that I have a mom on the phone with me, and I'm talking to her about what's important to her and why she wants to do something. A lot of the times the urgency for her is going to be somewhere revolving around her kids, right? And it's not always the case, but a lot of the times that is part of the urgency that's going to be there. And for some moms, that's not the case, because they feel very strong about some pieces of it, but then there's something else, maybe in their personal life, personal relationships or something. I don't know. Like, it really does depend. And it also depends on what it is that your offer is. So if your offer is trying to help them create the income, and they're, you know, really frustrated, like my offer is, right? Then it's really about digging into, you know, what exactly is going on, like what's going to happen, like what's not going to happen if they actually don't do this. You know, what is the most predictable outcome, which they're probably to some extent already experiencing. Right. So for me, one of the questions when someone asked me that, you know, I was like, I'm going to have to go back to corporate. And then I had to get really honest with myself. I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to have to go back to corporate. I would rather kill myself than go back to corporate. And I was like, hell no. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this now, because I cannot wait any longer. And I don't care that I don't have the money. I'm going to have to find the money. I'm going to have to create some magic. I don't know how the hell. And actually, it was really interesting, because before that, I was making like very, very little or zero in my business. And I was actually able to make every single one of those payments. And I had enough for the deposit, but not enough for the subsequent payments. And I was able to make every single one of those damn payments because I made it non-negotiable, right? So from my perspective as a buyer, that's what made me buy. From your perspective as a mentor, you have to dig into whatever they feel is the most important reason for them to get these results. And that ends up being different things for different people, right? Depending on what they want. And sometimes it will be based in pain. Sometimes it will be based in desire, depending on the person. So that's also another thing to consider. Let me see if there's any other questions. Okay. I don't see any other questions. And to a certain extent, oh, you're welcome, Elaine. It's my pleasure. To a certain extent, I'm not surprised. I'm very grateful that you guys stayed for so long. It's been 2 hours. That's a little bit long. So thank you for staying this long. I will be sending out the replay as quickly as possible so that you guys get it. I will chop down the replay to make sure that you guys only have the sections where I'm actually speaking and not the other sections where I was just staring into the screen waiting until this thing could load. And again, I want to really help you to create your dream business. We are at the best time of the year, and you can actually have everything set up before January, and to be able to actually create a launch within the first, you know, a simple launch, simple strategy, which is what I do with my clients within the first couple of weeks in January, and be able to really put your business out there in a really big way, in a much bigger way than you have, based on, you know, the best time for anything having to do with self-improvement in any way, right? So use this time and follow your opportunity. You were sent here, like, and you made it here, and you're listening to this for a reason. Okay, whether you showed up live or you're listening to the replay, you came here for a reason, okay? You came here for a reason. What was that reason? And are you going to follow that opportunity? So if you sign up, again, I will be happy and thrilled to give you those 2 gifts, 3 gifts actually, that I put up for you guys. And I will be thrilled to actually look at your business and see where the 6 figures are already hiding. So again, thank you so much for being here, for being so patient. I love you guys to pieces, really. I'm sending enormous vibrations of gratitude and love towards you for making it and for staying on for so long. Love you, love you, love you. And I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.